Hello, guys, and welcome back to Joe's Ventures. And today we're doing another Dev Diary of our Prehistoric Kingdom Dev Diaries. So we're gonna have a look at all those. So this one is for September 2024, and of course we're having a lot of really cute little baby dinosaurs, as you can see at the front there. So quite excited to get stuck into this one. We've also got some cool animals to come up as well. So let's have a look. So, welcome to September's Development Diary. Update 12 is trucking along as the last piece of art starts to come through. Focused on developing tutorials and getting the update finished. You can expect a trailer in October announcing its release date, showing the main features and dinosaurs in action. For now, however, let's look at some new content. So, update 12, let's see, we've got everyone's favorite dinosaur, Ankylosaurus. I like to say every animal's everyone's favourite dinosaur, but this is definitely one of a lot of people's favourite dinosaurs. So after the reveal of the green Ankylosaurus last month, it's time to show off another skin, and featuring dark stripes and a yellow body, this Ank is loud and proud with its striking contrast. Carnivores beware. So I like this one. It takes a little bit, reminds me a lot of the Walking with Dinosaurs one, but also a lot of animals, especially things like reptiles and sometimes, like dart frogs, things like that. Insects will often use bright colours to say, hey, don't mess with me, I'm poisonous, and things like that. So that kind of signaling for an animal like Ankylosaurus, saying, hey, don't mess with me. And obviously a lot of dinosaurs would have probably seen colour like birds do today, and particularly ultraviolet. So, yeah, I can definitely see bright colours like yellow and red saying, hey, don't mess with me, I will end your life because they've got that big club. Even T-Rexes are probably a bit wary of that. But yeah, definitely a big fan of these guys. Love them. Next up, we've got the Rustic theme. So after much speculation, the long-awaited Rustic theme will be arriving in Update 12. Inspired by US national parks, this building set makes heavy use of wood and sustainable materials to change its vernacular look. Taking a peek at the construction options, you'll primarily find aged materials that seem like they've seen a thing or two. In order to perfectly capture our references, our wooden walls have been given extra 3D geometry to fully make them pop. So yeah, it looks really, really cool. Definitely a big fan of that, and it really does make them pop too. Really nice, and you can see that rustic theme looks straight out of something, out of Yellowstone or something like that. Really love that. Of course, the rustic theme wouldn't be complete without its decorations. We've got some gorgeous wood carvings, lamps, signposts, and giant hollow logs for animals to walk through. So you see, it's a great example of what we got there. I was using the theme. It was very much like old cabin in the woods. Really, really cool. Really nice statue there. Looks like that's in Montosaurus or something like that. With the cafe there. Really, really cool. Put some wording in there. You can see another cool one. This is the Protoceratops and Velociraptor, another really cool one. That is quite cool. And you see there's big logs with a little Leelanosaurus hanging out in there. It would be great shelter. Well, great for something the guests to walk through. And next up we got our coastal map. So welcome to Redwood Valley. So this is set in the American West Coast. This mountainous region is home to a variety of coastal foliage, and like its namesake, the redwoods. Featuring a gravelled coastline and varied terrain, this map features tiered areas of flatland and slopes connecting each of its plateaux. A fitting environment for many North American dinosaurs, and actually not too far off from what a lot of North American dinosaurs would have been living in, because redwoods we know were around in the late Cretaceous and even Jurassic, so they've been around for a little while. Though we're still finalising the layout and density of the forest, you can get a rough idea of how this location will end up feeling below, so you can see that there. Looks really, really cool. Definitely a big fan of that. Love like that kind of little bay in there. It looks really, really cool. You see that as well. Look at that. How amazing is that? Definitely a big fan. And that's another amazing one too. So the coastal biome itself will also be updated with new trees, improved underbrush, and additional flora such as rhododendron and lily of the valley. This is currently one of the oldest biomes in game, so its upgrade will be pretty transformative. So, always getting a bit of love. Nothing wrong with that. We've also got some theme updates. So starting with the basic theme, we're actually adding two recolorable wall styles, raw wooden planks and wood look tiles. And the materials are especially great for making low-key builds off a nice and simple aesthetic. So nice and simple. You can see that looks quite nice. I like kind of the patterns you can see in there. It looks really, really good. Definitely a big fan. Another cool one as well. Another new stone material. You can see that's a great example of that. You can see the nice theme there. It was just like a nice, simple little building. Alongside the new stone material, polished terrazzo, the modern theme, we'll be also getting extra paint, coat of paint with updated wood materials. So you can see different materials there. Different types of wood materials. Looks really good. And you can see that perfectly there with some, nice hedges and things, topiaries, as we call them. Really, really cool. Definitely a big fan. Another one, the official prefab Redux. So coming to update 12 is a much needed standardization, of our official prefixes or prefabs with fresh designs. It's important to us that without interacting with the workshop, players can access a bunch of easy to use prefabs for all themes. What's changing? For guest-centric prefabs, there'll be a wide array of structure layouts with styling available in every theme. And these foundations will be consistently sized too, depending on the building. So we want to try and make sure they're all the same size. So look at that, you can see some different kind of basic themes and things like that. Just if you want to plop down something easy, it's all good. This means if you're thinking of swapping out your basic restaurant for a modern restaurant, it'll fit perfectly. So if you want to, swap them out the different themes, pretty easy to do. Same size, doesn't take up any additional space. Quite cool. As for logistics and park services, i.e. loading bay, staff centres, we plan to release basic prefabs for now, but we can revisit them if the community demand is high enough. And that's enough for update 12. We've got the future, and everyone's been talking about these, ontogeny. So lots of work has been done prototyping ontogeny in September, so that means animals growing up from baby to adult. We're making good progress with animation scaling and have started on getting the animal entities smoothly transitioning as they grow. As we're going for a real-time growth system, where we're looking a lot at bone proportions to see how much the animal can change before we begin to stretch. Thankfully, it's all looking good. So you can see that's Mama Rex and a nice young Rex that's probably like a gene age or like a teenager or a young teenager T-Rex. Definitely looks pretty good, pretty spot on. Even with our rudimentary tests, watching these gangly little beasties walk around and eat next to the adult counterparts is truly something. So it's quite cool to see. That's really awesome. We've got a good pipeline going and are excited to tackle the challenges ahead of us. We seriously cannot wait to get them more polished and show you them all. So that's quite cool. Below are some examples of the current growth stages for T-Rex and Triceratops. We don't have alternate normal maps for the baby yet, so keep in mind that things like ridges, bumps, and keratin will be toned down in the future. So luckily both T-Rex and Triceratops, they both are animals that we do have pretty good general ontogeny for. So we do know how they kind of grow up based on the fossil records. So this is a great animal to compare and contrast to. So you can see it's got a Tarbosaurus and a T-Rex, but anyway. So this is a young T-Rex, probably like a chopper age, maybe like a yearling if that. Really, really cute. Then you can see they get a little bit older, so you can see a young one there, and there's Jane, kind of a Jane aged, kind of a younger one. Potentially, a little bit younger there, looks like a Tarbosaurus as well. And then we've got here T-Rex, a little bit bigger, and then you've got an adult, so you can see they're kind of transitioning into the different ones, so that's quite cool. And then we've got the baby Triceratops. How freaking adorable is that little guy? I know little baby Triceratops look kind of ugly, but this is actually a cutie. It's so cute. Like, how can you not love that little guy? How adorable is he? My favorite thing about baby Trikes is that they're just like little gremlins, and they look like little gremlins. Like, look at that little guy. How can you not love that little guy? This guy is definitely going to be the thumbnail, because look at how cute he is. But yeah, as we mentioned, some things will change, like the ridging. I'll probably make it a little bit smoother. Some slight keratin changes, but yeah, it looks really, really cute. And then you have these two. So this is like a little bit more adult. So this is kind of sub-adult. So what we know from Triceratops is that the babies, you have the face like that. And then their horns kind of grew out like backwards and then kind of came out forwards like that. So you can kind of see that big kind of like keratin sheath on there. So that's likely how they grew. So it kind of went up and then out as they grew bigger. So you can see that's pretty much like a juvenile adult. And then we've spoken of ontogeny earlier this year, and we mentioned there'll be one baby skin per animal. Today, we're pleased to confirm that alternate species will receive their own texture and ontogeny rather than sharing them. So, in most cases, it'll be as simple as a change of color palette, but for something like Triceratops and Horridus and Triceratops Porosus and Horridus, there'll be unique designs to better transition to their adult colors. You can even see the horn nubbers being shaped differently. So, part of the things that separate Horridus from Porosus is Horridus has got a little bit more of a reduced nose horn, and Porosus has got like a little bit longer face with a little bit of bigger nose horn. But you can see the kind of differences there. You can tell like the difference between the different species. So you can see this Porosus there and Horridus there. So the two different species. So you can see this one. Yeah, this one's Horridus because Horridus has that little bit of a pointy nose and boxier skull. Porosus has a little bit of a lengthier skull and a little bit of a bigger nose horn. That's kind of the general way to tell them apart when you're looking at them. So there's a different species. Quite cool. One of the other cool things about ontogeny is sexual dimorphism, so that's really, really cool. So they're included in all species. Those included in all species, this feature will be best observed with animals like horns or tusks, like mammoths. So stopping growth stages a little early, we'll be able to achieve a more gracile look depending on the sex. So that'll be really awesome, because I'd love to see female mammoths with like shorter tusks, because one thing that's actually quite forgotten in paleo art is not all mammoths or not all adult specimens of species didn't have these huge, impressive horns, or tusks, or antlers. Often it's only the males, or even in the males they have extreme one examples. So a lot of mammoths, we don't often see a lot of mammoth art with more realistic, shorter tusks, especially for females. We do have a really good fossil record to see what like female tusks would look like, and they were still huge, bigger than probably modern African elephants, but they didn't have huge winding tusks that male bull mammoths had. So yeah, it's quite cool. Nice to see a bit of variety there. I'd love to see that, especially with mammoths, to just give a bit more variety there. And all in all, a lot has changed since we tried to tackle ontogeny. After all, we couldn't have a baby Tyrannosaurus having meteor flashbacks, could we? So this is with the first demo. I remember this. I remember playing this. It looks so bewildered. And you can see how it looks now. So it looks so much better. Love the fur on him. It's so good. So good. Love the ontogeny. It's really just another... I just need to stop praising Prehistoric Kingdom. It's going to start, becoming something like a broken record. But yeah, definitely really, really cool. Definitely a big fan. And I'm definitely going to use this baby trike as the cover. It's so cute. So cute. Like, painfully cute. It is quite cute. Anyway, so there's alternate species. So when creating our old animals, we often like to include alternate species that wouldn't make it to the game otherwise. So T-Rex Tarbosaurus is a great example. Horridus Porosus. Yeah, those are some good examples. This helps add variety, but often can feel like approximations by sharing identical shape of the animal they're based on. So now we say no more. So as you can see above, Tarbosaurus will look quite different from Tyrannosaurus, especially when it comes to bulk. There is a huge improvement over its current in-game appearance, where it appears to be more like a soft T-Rex with a dewlap. So that's really, really cool. Some changes there. So kind of the difference within Tarbosaurus and Tyrannosaurus is that Tarbosaurus is a little more gracile, a little bit smaller. Still huge, and still very big and dangerous, about 10 meters to T-Rex is 12. But they still had a little bit more of almost like a Carnotaurus sort of look, because they were most likely feeding on softer bodied animals rather than Tyrannosaurus. That was like almost specialized for eating big, bulky animals with armor and horns and things like that, so they didn't have quite that powerful bite force. They were still quite powerful, they just weren't especially adapted for it like T-Rex was. So you can see a little bit thinner proportions, a little bit smaller, a little bit of a longer, lankier face, not quite as big and bulky. But yeah, really, really cool. Nice to see that's not just a slightly smaller T-Rex, it's actually the proportions have changed to make it look like a Tarbosaurus. So yeah, really, really cool. Definitely a big fan of that. And excitingly, we'll be extending this philosophy to every alt species in the game, making adjustments when we can. So animals like Camarasaurus, so that's got 3 different species. I'm trying to think of some other animals. Smilodon would be another good one that needs a bit of love, I think. Smilodon, Psittacosaurus, that could probably use a bit of a difference as well. Yeah, just going through and giving them all a bit of updates. Some will need better updates than others. I think especially like the Smilodon would use one, but not all of them are created equal. Some are pretty spot on still, and others need a little bit of a tweak, but it'd be cool to go through and, update them all. to make them look a little bit more natural to their actual species. So yeah, they managed to figure that out, and it's really, really cool. So community spotlights. Here we've got by Assassin Spino. Here's some chibi, nice, really cute art of the Ankylosaurus. Definitely a big fan of that. Incog, who's got this really, really cool enclosure with the Platysaurus, watching the keeper with the wheelbarrow. It sounds very accurate because usually when zoo animals they see you coming, they're like, oh, yeah, look. Yeah, really, really cool. Definitely a big fan of those guys. Really, really cool. By Incog. And then we've got these cool little signs here. You can see like a woolly mammoth, hyenodon, Psittacosaurus, Stryosaurus, Acrocanthosaurus, and Camarasaurus there. And it was created by Ison. It's a nice little sign. Looks quite good. So yeah, thank you for reading September's devlog or dev diary. Until next time, the PK team. So yeah, really, really awesome one. I love to get to talk about ontogeny and have a little bit of a look at that, see how they're growing. And it's cool that you use T-Rex and Tarbosaurus because we do have a good idea of how they grew. We have pretty good specimens of got a good growth series out of them. And nice to see that even different species are getting reworks and, all getting some little changes. It's the little things that add up to really make it look good. And it's nice to see that Tarbosaurus is getting a bit of love because Tarbosaurus often is just considered a weird little T-Rex. But it's actually quite a distinct animal, and we can see that well represented here. So yeah, definitely a big fan. So yeah, I really, really, really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys like and subscribe. Always remember to get the little bell icon to get notified about anything. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, hope you guys like and subscribe, and bye-bye.